afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. It's such a great pleasure for me. Before we go to the main topic, do you guys know about this movie? Coco is an American animated movie produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures. The story follows a 12-year-old boy named Miguel who is accidentally transported to the land of the dead. The concept for Coco is inspired by the Mexican holiday Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos. So I'm not going to talk more about this movie because I'm gonna focus on the Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos. Many of us may see a death as a sad event, but those who celebrate Dia de los Muertos view that as a welcomed part of their life. Then, what is actually Dia de los Muertos? Dia de los Muertos is a Mexican holiday to remember and celebrate the lives of the deceased with food, drink, parties, and activities the dead enjoyed in life. It recognizes the death as a natural part of the human experiences. This tradition is symbolized by brightly colored skeletons and skulls everywhere during the holiday. How about the origin of Dia de los Muertos? There are two versions of history of Dia de los Muertos. The first one was from pre-Columbian origins. It was between the pre-classic and post-classic period. Nahua people from the Central High Plain area of Mesoamerica signified a death as the dispersal and fragmentation of the human. A person's soul is believed to travel to Chikunamiclan, land of the dead, which was ruled by Mictlantecuhtli and Mictecacihuatl. Chikunamiclan consisted of 9 levels the dead undertook in a 4-year voyage and met dangerous challenges to reach Mictlan, their final resting place. As an honor, the family of the deceased provided the necessary tools, food, and water to the dead for the journey. The other one was from European origins. In ancient Europe, pagans honored the dead with ceremonies at the spring and autumn. For these ceremonies, families built bonfires around grave sites, brought offerings of food, wine, and danced and sang throughout the night. The Roman Catholic Church also conceded to pagan tradition by unofficially accepting certain rituals for All Souls Day. And when is Dia de los Muertos? Dia de los Muertos is usually held in 2 days, on November 1st and 2nd. The first one, Dia de los Angelitos, or Day of the Little Angels, starts the holiday at midnight on November 1st, where the spirits of all deceased children are believed to be reunited with their families for 24 hours. Families construct an altar with the departed child's favorite snacks, candies, and toys and photographs to encourage a visit from their departed children. Their names also will often be written on a sugar skull. At midnight of the following day, November 2nd, the celebrations shift to honor the lives of the departed adults. The altars are constructed with a more adult-like theme such as tequila, mezcal, pulque, and jars of atol. Families will play games together, reminisce about their loved ones, and dance. The night is filled with laughter and fun memories. At noon of November 2nd, it becomes the grand final and public celebration of Dia de los Muertos. In more recent times, people come together in their cities, dressed up and having parades. There are also cemetery visits on the last day as families go to decorate the grave sites. How do people celebrate Dia de los Muertos? There are many activities that people do within 2 days of Dia de los Muertos. The first one, visiting cemeteries, is customary during Dia de los Muertos. Beforehand, family members clean the graves of their deceased. They decorate the graves with marigolds and candles. They also bring offerings of food and drink to honor their loved ones, as well as the precious objects belonging to them. Prayers are recited upon arriving at the graves and are often preceded by candlelit procession. In many cases, the celebration go all day and all night with music and dancing. The second, decorating ofrendas. Mexican families often decorate their house and make an altar for ofrendas. Ofrendas is a collection of offerings dedicated to the person being honored. A bright color oil cloth covers the table and also photographs and personal items of the departed person. These all are surrounded with the offerings from traditional Mexican cuisines. Then, marigolds are one of the most Dia de los Muertos symbols. They are believed to be the pathways that guide the spirits to their ofrendas. They are called Flor de Muertos in Spanish, and they symbolize the beauty and fragility of life. As we know before that the offerings are decorated and completed with foods. So here are some traditional Mexican cuisines that are often served in Dia de los Muertos. The first, pan de muertos, is a pan dulce or sweet bread. Families usually make one loaf to eat during on November 2nd and another loaf to place in the altars as an ofrenda. The second is sugar skulls. Sugar skulls are skull-shaped hard sugar ornaments which represent the soul of the loved ones. They are not intended to be eaten but rather placed as an ofrenda. Pozole is a type of stew which usually includes corn, meat, and other ingredients. Then, champurrado is a thick beverage made of corn, cinnamon, and vanilla with the added sweet touch of chocolate. And then pulque is a traditional Mexican alcoholic drink made from the fermented sap of the maguey plant. And then the Calaveras skulls. Calaveras skulls are often drawn with a smile as to love at death itself. They take many forms such as sugar candies, clay decorations, and the most memorable, face painting. Last but not least, Dia de los Muertos Parade. The parade has become the major event in Mexico City. It displays some beautiful ancestral traditions of Dia de los Muertos, complete with large skeleton puppets, marigolds, moving altars, olive bridges, Catrinas, schools, traditional dancers, and many more. It's such a fun atmosphere full of people and street vendors. Dia de los Muertos is such a great tradition which reunites all family members in happiness and fun. People in their believe that the dead are never dead for them until they have forgotten them. Thank you. Dia de los Muertos is a spiritual tradition to celebrate, to commemorate, to remember the lost loved ones. It may be associated to the specific religion. However, if people outside Mexico want to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, they, they are able to do it, but they have to they have to understand the event and its traditional practices. In Dia de los Muertos holiday, all of the lost loved ones or the lost family members are commemorated and celebrated as long as their family in the world still remember them.